Today on episode 119 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our college football Week 10 preview, the NFL Week 9 pick show, and our TCF top 3 of NBA City Edition uniforms 2021. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 119 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to follow the main page on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Give those pages a like. Head over to YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans and give our page there a subscribe as well for all of our content in video form. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. You can follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, but make sure you follow the man that I'm joined with tonight. That is Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Zach, we're getting really close. Holiday season's right around the way. Have you started your Christmas shopping yet?
I actually have. My sister does these Amazon list for my nephews. So I went on there, got those done real quick. I'm at the point where I'm just telling people what do they want, and then I will buy it. And I'm not going to be able to guess on some of my family members. Me and my brother-in-law, we always go to a DePaul basketball game, so I'm excited about that I can get back to our tradition. We couldn't go, I don't think last year, I don't know if the year before either, but we always pick a good team that DePaul plays, and we go to the game, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm trying to do it early because you know me, I'll forget.
Absolutely. I'm big on getting people jerseys, and we know the wait times, coming from the place that I get them. So I got to get mine ordered here in like the next 2 weeks if I plan on getting any of them by Christmas. So I feel you there. We started some shopping last weekend on our way home from Wisconsin. So got a little bit started. So piece by piece, I guess. But while you're doing your Christmas shopping, make sure you head over to Beer Baseball Repeat on Instagram. Follow the link that they have and pick up some TCF merch. I've got mine in. I know a lot of my family members are going to be getting some for Christmas. We have
a little surprise for Boomy's family. It'll be a TCF shirt, sweatshirt, something like that.
Exactly. And I'll be honest, if they want to be surprised, I said, well, you should have listened to the podcast. You could have known 2 months ago that what you were getting for Christmas. So lots of that, lots of Connect Roasters coffee. But like I said, Beer Baseball Repeat on Instagram. Follow the link there. Pick up your TCF merch. It's amazing stuff. I've picked up some of the T-shirts, some of the, there's like a different type of T-shirt. It's not a dry fit. It's kind of like a heathered kind of clothing. And it's super comfortable. They have tank tops, hoodies, long sleeves. Whatever you want, you can find it there. Beer Baseball Repeat on Instagram. Zach, let's jump into things. As always, we have sinkers and floaters. My sinker this week is what is known as the corpse plant. And that is because this plant is so disgusting, it lets off this odor that smells like a dead body. And apparently, gigantic crowds are rushing to this thing in California, in Southern California. I actually remember there was an episode of The Simpsons where it was kind of similar to this. They had like a plant that did the same thing. And it only like blooms every once in a while. It says the bloom of the corpse plant lasts just 48 hours. And during it, it emits a putrid odor of rotting flesh to attract carrion beetles and
people want to go see this?
Yes, because it only blooms once a year.
I don't care.
I know, I'm completely with you. People are psychos. First of all, never been to an arboretum or whatever they're called. I think that's the right word. Places where they have plants and stuff. It's just not up my alley. And not to mention that, I'm not going to watch stinky plants. No thank you. They literally said it smells like rotting flesh.
Figure out a lot better trips to go on.
Oh, 100%. You'd be better off in my mind
to go see something that's just very stinky.
I would enjoy more going to like the Raising Cane's down the street than going to see this flower that's going to smell like dead bodies. No, thank you. I'm completely out on the corpse plant. But apparently 5,000 people are expected to visit the garden by Tuesday evening because that's when it was supposed to emit its terrible, terrible odors. So if you're in Southern California, I guess, and you want to see a stinky plant, you better get over and check that out before it makes some terrible, terrible smells.
I'm with you, Boomy, on that one. Well, so now I have two sinkers now because I'm watching some football. A commercial comes on, and these people who do the rock climbing that have the tents on the side of the mountain. What is that all about? What that cannot be safe. How do you not fall out?
Yeah. Oh, you'd be
Oh
hard pressed
my
to find them
gosh.
sleeping in a tent not attached to the side of a mountain, let alone
Yeah.
one a
I
thousand
just
feet
saw
up
a
in the air. No
commercial
thanks.
with that, and I've been thinking about that all week because I've seen that commercial a few times, and every time it makes me sick just seeing it.
I don't know what it is, and like the older I get, the more I'm not afraid of heights, like
I'm
getting on an
very afraid
airplane.
of heights.
But like like when you're scrolling through Facebook and they have videos of people like walking on the side of buildings and like doing parkour like 10 stories up on the tops of these buildings. Like
Mm-hmm.
my stomach like goes into a knot every single time, but I still can't bring myself to not watch them either. I don't know what it is, but obviously that is, someone who's 6'1", 240 shouldn't be doing. So I know better than to put myself in that situation, but I'm with you, man. That is lunacy. And then to sleep in a tent, first of all,
Oh my gosh.
not going
I
to
can't do it. Never, ever,
not
ever.
going to. No, thank you. I'm
My
completely
other
out on that.
sinker is IPAs. I may have had a few the other night. Oh
Just
my
a few?
gosh. Well, you can't have more than a
Well, that's
few.
the thing with IPAs. You really
9%.
can't.
That'll come back and get you.
Yeah, that's
And
a good
I
quality
I just feel
IPA.
like the hangover's a little different.
Now, was it like a flavored IPA or just straight like hops?
It was, I don't know.
I had one the other night that was like a blackberry
Not really
jam
sure.
one, and it was, well, basically if it's not a flavored one, it just tastes like a super strong beer.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. That
okay, so
definitely was very strong.
yeah, and you got to like I had two the other night, and that was more than enough. It was like 8.7. It was delicious, but I mean,
Oof, I'm not a fan.
after that,
I'll stick to my Busch Light.
yeah, I'm not been super big on just like light beers lately, but like I've also not gone super crazy in like the dark. I've been trying to, and I connect roasters will like this. I'm trying to force myself with the time of year, with the season, to become a stout guy, get into a little bit more of the darker beers. It seems like a wintertime activity, but I've always had a problem with stouts because, as I've said before, I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never truly liked the taste of coffee, but I've actually got one right here. So I'm trying to force myself. My brother gives me a really hard time a lot of the time for not drinking dark beers. So I'm trying to force myself, and I found some good ones. So
I've
it's
gotten to
going
the point
better
where
than.
I'll drink what I want.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. Like we're seltzer boys,
Oh
like
yeah, high
I'm gonna
noons.
drink. Yes, high noons. I mean, it doesn't matter. Seltzers. I I drink what tastes good, and you can call me all the names you want. Thank God my dad taught me that, a long time ago, because I used to make fun of him because he drank like Mike's Hard Lemonades, and he's like, "Listen, I drink what tastes good. I don't care what you think of me." And it took me a while, but I think me and you are both finally coming around to that. Like, I'm gonna drink what I want, and I don't care what you have to say.
Well, yeah, my main beer is also Busch Light, so it's not like I'm drinking anything too fancy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the same direction. We're just on a little bit different paths. So, my floater, on the other hand, is election season, and that is because in Portland, Maine, there was a city council election, and we all know November is election time. But there's no presidential race going on this year. There's no House of Representatives or Senate, but there's tons of local stuff going on. And in Portland, Maine, there was a city council race that was so close they literally hand counted all the ballots, and then they were deadlocked in a tie. Zach, do you know what solution that they went to decide the tie?
A coin flip.
They went to drawing straws.
Oh.
Yep. You gotta love. We're in 2021, man. We're like the most technologically advanced we've ever been, and we're
Rock,
back.
paper, scissors.
That was probably the backup option if they didn't have a straw.
Be exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you even
Imagine
think
if
about
that's how we like elected people nowadays. It was like, okay, we're gonna see how close it can get, and then we'll place rock, paper, scissors at the end of it.
exactly. I don't hate that at all, because I mean, and then even the guy that loses can at least say like, I'll be back next time because, I was super close this last one. There's obviously a bunch of people out there that like me. I just got to get, to the 51% threshold. That's all you got to do.
It's very true. I like that idea because it's people would really start tuning in maybe a little more to politics if it was rock, paper, scissors.
If there was commercials like, hey, next Wednesday night at 7 p.m., we're going to go to Portland, Maine for the local
Best two out of
city
three.
council.
Best two out of three. Rock, paper, scissors. Winner takes all.
It take 5 minutes. It's, you're not going to have to spend a ton of time on it, but I would tune in. Absolutely. I'd be flipping over to CNN for that.
Okay. My floater is soup. Soup is my floater. It's soup season. It's getting there. Chili season. I know Boomy's not a big fan of soup. I don't get that. No. But it is soup season. I am excited for it.
I will agree with you on this time. This time of year is perfect for soup. I know PFT is big on, soup season never stops. But, this is the time when you come in, especially if you go out to a restaurant and it's super cold outside and you can't decide on an appetizer, maybe just, go with the soup. But I don't go out of my way to try soups. It's just, I do like chili, though. I love making chili at home, but it is, I would agree with you.
You can be wrong about things, Boomy.
I'm usually not, so we'll just stay there. All right, Zach, let's jump into the TCF Sports Minute. We got to talk about the hottest team in Chicago, the Bulls, 6-2. I want to go through these real quick. Zach LaVine is averaging 25 a game. DeMar DeRozan, 27. Lonzo Ball, 12. And Vooch, 13. So, you got four players.
And Vooch has been struggling a little bit, too, so that's just going to get better.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of at the bottom of where he normally is in his career. But the best thing is man, they're in every game. Even their two losses, it was a close 1-point loss to the Knicks and then a close loss to the 76ers, who are both going to be playoff teams. And it's refreshing because obviously the Blackhawks are, we'll talk about them in a minute. They are an absolute, dumpster fire. The Bears, we talked about that at length as well. It's good to have a bright side, and they're in every single game. And obviously there's going to be times they're going to get blown out at some point. That's okay. To see where they're at compared to 2 years ago is very refreshing. And I don't know about you, but I think I've only missed one game this year.
It's exciting to watch the Bulls game. You're excited all day for the game. We're recording this on Saturday. The Bulls play tonight. So we're excited for the Bulls game tonight. They stay in every game. They may be down 15, 20 points at some point, but that they're going to at least fight back and hopefully make it a game. They've done it multiple times this year already. You can just tell that they're out there having fun too. That's the main thing.
Right. And that Boston win, as highlight of a game as you're going to find with, they were down 19 and won the game by 14 points. They were down 19 in the third quarter. I do have a question I want to pose.
It's not just the veterans or whatever. It's the guys off the bench, and we're gonna get Kobe White back at some point here, hopefully soon. So that'll make the bench even better. But I think that's what the biggest difference between last year and this year is, the bench.
100%. With that being said, Zach, I got a question for you. Who do you think is deserving of more minutes right now, Ayo or Alex Caruso? I think that's kind of the hot topic. As far as Ayo has been insanely surprising as a second-round pick, and Alex Caruso is one of the best defenders. I think he
hasn't been playing well offensively, but he's out there to play defense hard every single time, which is really all you can ask for, I guess.
But all right, so you're Billy Donovan. Who gets more minutes?
I'd say Ayo.
I'm going to disagree. Right now, it's Caruso.
I know it's a tough question. I think that they should both be out there with the bench, and they both make the bench better. So hopefully they can make it work between the two of them.
I think there's a fine line, and it's like one night Ayo will get 22 minutes, and then the next night he's down to 12. Obviously, that's a rookie thing. You're going to get that.
Oh, yeah, but with Caruso, like you said, you're right. His defense is always going to be there.
And what I love most about Caruso is, he doesn't have to have the ball to make his most impact. He makes his most impact on defense and facilitating. And I don't think with a team that has, like I ran off the stats, DeRozan at 27 and, LaVine at 25 and, Vooch and Ball playing well. He doesn't have to score. He's playing his role damn near perfectly right now. And I think that kind of asset coming off the bench without Kobe White is huge right now. You never want to say, it gives Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan a chance to, catch a breather on defense. But honestly, if you can bring Caruso in to guard someone, and shift Levine or DeRozan off on, a weaker offensive player, that's going to make their offense better.
Tony Bradley Jr.,
yes,
Javonte Green, they've all been better, I guess, than maybe we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season, which is also Javonte Green's out there starting. DeMar DeRozan, 3 straight 30-plus point games.
Yeah, and I think that there was a quote out of, was it Javonte Green, who said that, like, I don't care what I have to do, I just want to win. And obviously he's going to say that to the media, but like he shows it in the game.
This team seems like they're cheering for each other.
Yes, I think that's a good way to put it too. Like they're putting their egos aside, and they just want to win games. And right now it's showing. I mean, 6-2, they're right up there in the best records, in the NBA. Let's jump into their neighbors at the Madhouse, the Blackhawks. Huge breaking news. Like Zach said, we were recording this on Saturday. The Blackhawks have fired Jeremy Colliton 3 years to the day since they fired Joel Quenneville. The team is 1-9-2 on the season. They're absolutely abysmal. I can say it right now. This team's not going to the playoffs. They've actually fired Jeremy Colliton and the 2 assistants. They are bringing up the Rockford IceHogs head coach, who I will actually be at their game on Sunday. They're bringing him up to be the next coach. I think this year you just kind of it's a burner year, right? It's done. It's over with. You get a new GM in because obviously their GM right now is an interim. You're going to hopefully bring in a GM at the end of the year who's going to want to bring his own head coach in, and you can start. Look how fast the Bulls rebuild took. I mean, it was a year of averageness last year, and they were still in the hunt. Up until like a month before the playoffs. But I mean, they surprised teams. They played well, and then they completely overhauled things. And I think there's a chance that you get the right GM in and the right coach in play. There's talent on this roster that if you get the right GM and the right coach to make some moves, that you could see the Blackhawks being kind of similar to a Bulls situation that we are in right now.
But it's going to be a tough rest of the season because I watched their game against the Jets. They scored 2 goals within 2 minutes. I don't know what is the deal. I think twice at the beginning of the season they gave up a goal within the first 15 seconds. It's like, what, do we not know there's a game starting?
Zach, I saw a stat last night as I was eating dinner with my wife when the Blackhawks came on. The Blackhawks have trailed by 2 or more goals in the first 6 minutes of the game 3 times this year, and they've played 12.
And then that game, last night they did it.
Exactly. And they've also trailed by 2 goals 10 minutes into the game, I think 7 times of the 12, 6 or 7 times. That just shows you, they're not prepared after last night, which was abysmal. And Winnipeg's a good team, but, you just, you got pumped on – you're not a good team. You show up and play like that, Carlton's got to go.
Yeah, it had to happen. They're going to have to hire a new GM most likely in the offseason, so you're not really going to want to get a coach. Maybe they'll do it now, but you're not going to want to hire a new coach until you kind of got the front office in order.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with the interim the rest of the season. And, the thing that sucks the most is, you have Jonathan Toews, who's, on the downside hill of his career. And don't get me wrong, he's still a great player, but Patrick Kane, they're not getting any younger. You're going to burn another season. You're going to burn the first year of Seth Jones's contract. And now we're going to start over in 9 months. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't think it's – unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as quick of a fix as it was for the Bulls, but hockey's a different game.
Absolutely. The Bears this week, they have Monday Night Football. No moves at the deadline. Were you any surprised by that, Zach?
I thought maybe you'd see Allen Robinson get traded because there's nothing between the team and him. You can kind of already tell that. But I thought maybe they'd move Robinson. But other than that, I really didn't see much happening for the Bears. But for nothing to happen, that was a little surprising. But
I thought they should have gone out and shot Khalil Mack a little bit harder. I mean, like you said, it's especially if you can flip some of those guys, near the ends of their deals and pick up something to build on. But to make absolutely nothing happen. I mean, I shouldn't say I was surprised, but I don't know. Did you want the Bears to go out and be aggressive here and just kind of say, hey, we're it is what it is. We are who we are.
There wasn't many moves that could have been made. Truthfully. You don't want to just keep giving up more draft picks too. So I mean, I'm whatever on the situation that they didn't trade anybody. Like you said, I thought really they would look around for trades for Robinson because there's no way that he's going to be with the Bears next year. And like you said, with Khalil Mack too, that would have been one, but he's been playing a little bit better. So
Yeah,
like to see him stay, but at some point there's what are the Bears right now?
Record wise, they are 3-5, I believe. Let me
3-5.
Yep.
See, I feel like we're just going to stay right in this little bubble of being bad, but not horrible.
Right. You're not the Lions, but
you're not going to do much with that all season.
Buccaneers, yeah. The term I've used forever is sports purgatory. You know, you're going to sneak in the Nickelodeon game every couple of years if you don't change anything, but it's purgatory. I got to ask so Monday night you're at Pittsburgh. What are your expectations out of that? Because we did see some nice things out of Justin Fields last week using the legs.
Oh yeah, you love to see what Justin Fields has been doing. I have no problem with how Justin Fields has been playing. You like to see him play a little better, but it's not his fault that the wide receivers. It just doesn't seem like everyone's out there to play very hard. Like it's the NFL and everything, but man, it just seems like the defense is just you get some good stops and then the other team's offense just goes down quickly.
Yeah.
Can't get many stops. And that's tough for a young offense.
Right. It looks unmotivated a lot of times.
Very unmotivated.
And when you have a rookie quarterback out there, I feel like
really truthfully, last week though was about as motivated as I've seen him because their coach had some fire. It looked like he was having some fun, like he was trying to pump the team up. You don't see that much from Matt Nagy unless he's mad.
Right. Maybe I don't know. They got kind of pumped last week, but Matt Nagy should be back, I believe, for Monday Night Football. But we'll see. We'll see what it goes. If you can build off of Fields' legs and continue to use that, you got to stick with it. You got to find what works for the kid and build off of that. But if you need help getting up and getting motivated for the Bears game, head over to our friends at Connect Roasters Coffee. Get that caffeine going. They have the best coffee around that you can find. They work with our guy, Dom Frederick, Ian Happ. Zach loves it. Zach's mom loves it. You can't go wrong. Those lovely people wouldn't drink bad coffee, so it's good coffee. Make sure to head over to their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. You can find their products at Foxtrot Market and Dom's. Possibly some Myers coming soon. I don't know. We're just saying what we're hearing. But make sure you check out Connect Roasters for the best coffee around that you can find. Zach, it is week 10 in the college football season. Now, before I get into the games going on this weekend, I got to talk to you, man. The four that are going, or the first four projections came out this week. We've got Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and who was the fourth? It was not who we expected.
Michigan State, right?
Michigan State. Cincinnati. No, I wasn't saying them in order. Okay. Yeah. So I think in order it went Georgia. Alabama was 4, Michigan State was 3, and who was 2 then? I just said it.
I'm trying to think.
Alabama, Georgia, Michigan State. It wasn't Oklahoma. They were on the outside. That's going to drive me nuts.
Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon was 3.
No, Michigan State's 3.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So maybe it was Georgia. Either way, no Cincinnati. They're at 6. How? That's a joke, dude. Come on. What do teams got to do to get in? You can say
I don't think it's possible until they expand it.
That's ridiculous. But if you're going to truly call yourself the college football playoff,
I think you're very right about that.
Everything.
You're right, and it's not it's tough. It's a tough situation because they got the Power 5 conferences, and it just feels like unless they expand the playoffs, they're not going to let a non-Power 5 conference team into the playoff.
Well, and like it sucks because like they beat Notre Dame. That's a good win. They beat Indiana. When that game was scheduled, even last year looking into this year, Indiana was good. Now Indiana's like 2-6. Okay, that's not Cincinnati's fault. They're playing Power 5 conferences, and it's not like Alabama or Georgia are banging on their doors wanting to play them. You can't fault Cincinnati for what they've done. And the fact is, I mean, you can sit here and tell me, and I'm not going to argue with you, that Alabama, is a better football team. I'm not going to disagree with you, but like at some point, you've got to reward those teams who have, added games to their schedule that, they could have easily sat back and, went 12-0 beating up on, Youngstown State or, whoever it is, anything. But they went out and they added, Notre Dame, who's the strongest independent, school in the country. And then you add a Big Ten team, a team that was in the Big Ten championship, I believe, last year or near it. And it's stupid. I hate it. And they have to expand because unless you do, like I said, it just sucks for these guys that are getting, really no chance.
Very true, Boomy.
In-state games this weekend. Actually, this week we had some action. Unfortunately, my Huskies fell to Kent State on Wednesday night.
They made a close game.
Kept it close, but they've got to stop with what has been working. And I normally am one that says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. NIU in a lot of games have gotten themselves into deficits and then came back. They've picked up a couple, I think like 2 or 3 wins where they've at least trailed by 10 points. They did the same thing against Kent State and they weren't able to close it. The defense gave up 52 points to an average Kent State team. And if you're going to keep spotting teams, 15, 20 points, you're not going to win those games every time. Now, you've been lucky to win 2 or 3 of them, but it came back to bite you in the ass this week. Big game next week against Ball State. I believe the winner of that is going to go to the MAC championship. So I will be all tuned in. I believe they play Wednesday night at DeKalb.
I love the MACtion.
MACtion's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Even when you lose bets on the last second, play at the goal line, right, Zach?
Unbelievable that over. Unbelievable. How does he fumble that into the end zone?
That was insane. I still can't. I guess I shouldn't say I can't believe it happened. I can because it's MACtion. But, that's MACtion, though, for you, baby. I don't know.
That's Tuesday, Wednesday night football.
Oh, exactly. Sticking up in Illinois, Northwestern 3-5. They have Iowa this weekend. Illinois 3-6. I don't know, Zach. We're recording this Saturday during the day.
They won.
They won. So Illinois gets to 4-6.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, who was somehow ranked 20th in the country. And not to mention, it was announced this morning that P.J. Fleck at Minnesota got a 7-year extension, then turned around 5 hours later and got beat by a terrible Illinois team.
You hate to see it.
That's a tough look. Unfortunately, Illinois has to win out to get to 6 wins. They have Iowa at Iowa next weekend. That's going to be a tough one. Actually, they have a bye week, then Iowa. That'll be a tough one for them to get to bowl eligibility, and then they would have to beat Northwestern on the 27th, which is a winnable game.
In the some ranked teams, though.
They have, but I think Iowa's a huge task, and Illinois over the last couple of years has not fared very well against Iowa. In the FCS, Western Illinois sitting at 2-7, Eastern Illinois 1-8. Western Illinois did beat ISU last weekend, which was a little surprising. Illinois State at 3-5. And then I watched a little bit of this game earlier, but the Southern Illinois Salukis, they did fall last week. They're down to the 7th-ranked team. They're still getting into the playoff. And they've got Missouri State. I did not see a final on that one yet, but the Salukis still playing pretty well. Northern Iowa was a tough team, and that game was on the road last week. So 6-2, number 7 in the country. Keep your eye out on the Salukis. Let's talk about some of the big national games this week. The big one here, Mississippi State and Arkansas. This is the one I picked, Zach, because Arkansas is not ranked. Mississippi State is ranked 17th, and Arkansas is a 5-point favorite. Do you like anything on this one here?
Mississippi State money line is what I would
I'm
take.
with you there.
I like that a lot. That's one of those ones they're trying to trick me.
Yes. Arkansas peaked in week 3.
Yeah.
They're not a great football
Very
team.
True.
I feel like they're the favorite.
They're not very good, I don't think.
I don't think so either. They're going to be in some random, Motor City Bowl or some, random game. And they're going to, I believe they are going to get into a bowl game, but like they peaked when they beat Texas. And, I don't think it's it. I think Mississippi State is getting better as the season progresses. And for them to be getting 5 points, I like that there. Let's go into some of the night games tonight. We've got, staying in the SEC, we got LSU and Bama. Is there any chance that the Tigers can muster it up to knock Alabama out of that top 4 ranking?
No, Saban remembers a lot of things. True. And he remembers last year. Or not last year, the year that that Joe Burrow was there. They beat Alabama. What Coach O said.
Yep.
And I think this is going to get bad. I think they're going to win by 3 touchdowns, maybe.
Well, Bama is minus 28.5. Now, I like LSU getting the 28.5 just because this will be the last time that Ed Orgeron.
Well, and they always say interim Coach O is the best. Technically, he's an intern right now.
Yeah. So I like
LSU. He's been fired pretty much, and he's just there for the rest of the season. So maybe that's when his teams play their best.
Yeah, I could just see him, going in there, yelling that this will be the last time he gets to face Alabama until he gets another job and getting the boys riled up. But Bama's a better team. I think they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to cover 28.5. Also in the SEC, a very close game. We have number 18 Kentucky. Zach, do you even know Kentucky was ranked?
No.
See, and I only knew that because they got ranked.
This is the year of random teams being ranked.
Yes, 100%. UT San Antonio, Coastal Carolina, all those. But Kentucky hosts Tennessee at 6 o'clock tonight, and it's a pick-up. I love Kentucky at home. I think Kentucky's a better team. Now, obviously, it's a big rivalry there, but I don't know about you, but I love Kentucky here.
So do I. I think that's the pick. You can't.
You know,
Tennessee at home, maybe.
Yes, exactly. At Rocky Top, we might be having a different discussion. If Kentucky can bring the juice that they brought against Florida, I mean, they had the game plan down. They had the crowd into it. I mean, I think Kentucky's better than even an 18-ranked team. I think that if they can come out and show it that it's a national TV game, you got to be ready to go. You're gonna.
I don't know if you had this one on here, Boomy, but UNC just beat Wake Forest, number 8 Wake Forest, I think, undefeated. I don't think even if they won out, they were going to be able to get in the playoff.
Has a loss.
Wake Forest? No, they were undefeated going into this game.
Oh yeah, they were. I thought they lost to somebody.
Nope, but I feel like they weren't getting as much respect because the ACC is pretty down this year. Clemson being down, but they lose to North Carolina, so they make it pretty easy for the committee.
Yeah, because I mean, if they go undefeated and Cincinnati goes undefeated and somehow Bama loses,
and they blew it too. They were up, I think, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think in the third quarter, and ended up losing by a field goal. The end of the game kind of got crazy. They ended up getting a late touchdown, and then UNC Wake Forest had the onside kick. UNC gets it. Game over. So pretty much. They blew it on the road. It was a tough game at North Carolina.
Yep, and Mac Brown's teams for some reason just never seem to give up. They're not great football teams. And North Carolina came into the season ranked in the top 10, and they just
they're 5-4 as of this game.
4, yeah. Sam Howell, good quarterback. We'll be seeing him on Sundays. Last game I wanted to talk about, Zach, out in the Pac-12. We've got number 4 Oregon -7 on the road at Washington. I'm going to take Oregon here just because.
What time does this game start?
That is actually a 6:30 p.m. start here.
That's lame.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, if that game was starting at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, I might be thinking a little bit different. But I've got a future on Oregon to win the national title that I put in back in September. So I'm riding with the Ducks here. Quack, quack, baby. Let's go.
I love it. I'm with you.
All right, it is that time of the week. We have our TCF NFL Week 9 pick show. Let's run down the standings. Zach has actually jumped into first place, surprisingly to everybody.
Love it.
Zach went 5-1 last week. Sold his soul to the devil, apparently. But you've been on a hot run in the last 3 weeks. You went 5-1, and then 4-2 and 4-2. After a pretty slow start. So Zach is in first at 28-22. I am in second at 26-22-2. And Maddie is right behind us at 21-29. And starting in week 9, Pigoy is joining us. If you guys don't know Pigoy, make sure you check him out on Twitter. He does all of our social media, all of our graphics, all of that.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool graphics out now that we're going to start doing with what we've been doing with our picks and stuff. They're really a cool way to get them out, and then you can see them instead of a video where you got to listen for the picks or whatever. So we're going to be putting out the videos and the graphics, so I'm very excited about that.
And daily bets coming. We started it on Wednesday, I believe, and so we're throwing in bets every night. Check us out. Shout out at TCF Pigoy, I believe. So make sure you follow
to Zach. Oh, that's me. And just hitting a huge parlay. Huge plus 2,600, something like that.
Not bad. Hey, I mean, you've been about a parlay a month. You hit the Schwarber, Rizzo.
See, that's the parlay thing, though. That's the name of the game.
Exactly. You gotta play it to win it. Let's start off. I will do my Sunday noon picks. I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals -2.5 against the Browns. There is turmoil in Cleveland. Obviously, they release OBJ. And I just think Cincinnati's a better team, at the end of the day. They are, they've made so many improvements, and outside of their loss to the Bears, and I think they have one other kind of tough loss. They're the best team in that division, and I just see Cleveland going the other way. They're at home. Give me Cincinnati -2.5. I'm also going to take the New York Giants +3. They are hosting the Raiders, and that is a noon game. Obviously we saw what happened with Henry Ruggs this week, and obviously with John Gruden a couple weeks ago. Talk about turmoil inside of an organization. I just think that New York's going to be able to keep it close. I do like their money line here. And I feel like Oakland's kind of been flying high on the interim. And I don't know if you can continue, to get by on it with everything going on in the team, on and around the team. It just worries me. So I'm going to take the New York Giants +3 in the Meadowlands. What do you got, Big Z?
I'm also going to take the Bengals -2.5. That's too good of a line to not take. The Bengals at home against the Browns, who just got rid of OBJ. Who knows what's going on with that team? And then I'm also going to take the Patriots -4 in, was it Carolina? Is that South Carolina?
It's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. The Panthers. I think this Patriots team is pretty good, and unless I don't know this, I don't think McCaffrey's back this week.
I believe he practiced, but I don't think they're going to play him. I don't know if he even full practice. I think he's just going to.
Because I feel like they would not have -4 on the road if McCaffrey was going to play. So I'm taking Patriots -4.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's actually, Zach, I'll give it to you at -3.5 is what I got it at right now. So even better for you. In the afternoon games, give me the Los Angeles Chargers -2. They are actually, it's down to
-1. I'm with you on that one too. I can't not take that either
because not only do I have it and you have it, but we'll get to his picks in a minute because Matt is not with us this week. Matt also has it. So
that's a great line though. Against the Eagles. I know it's in Philadelphia, but this Chargers team I think is pretty good.
Yeah, they're like 4-4, but I
have no faith in this Eagles team.
I refuse to bet on a Nick Sirianni coach team. But if you're smart and you see our picks, all of us have Cincinnati and all of us have the Chargers. Run for the hills, take the other side, and Pigoy has the Chargers. So,
oh my gosh.
Yep. So whatever you're doing, go bet the house on the Eagle.
Yeah. Maybe the Eagles are the play. I was wrong.
Eagles money line. What's your other noon pick? Or I'm sorry, 3:00 pick, Zach.
I got Chiefs -7 against the Packers. I know. I'm not even saying this as a Packer hater.
Is what I got it at.
That's fine. I'll take that too. I just think no Aaron Rodgers. Say what you want. Even if Jordan Love's going to be a good quarterback in the future, I don't see this is going to be his breakout game in the middle of a season where he's only going to play one game. So I'm thinking the Chiefs, at some point, they've got to be better.
I think I'm obviously not going to play that game at all. Aaron Rodgers just I don't know if you even want to get into it, just making an idiot out of himself.
Very confusing the way he went about it.
Yeah, I'm just.
Because there's one way of
I
going
don't know.
about it. There's some guys who didn't get the vaccination, and they've stood up for what they believed in. They said it to the media. They went through all the processes that you have to do when you're not being vaccinated, and it just seems like he tried to get around that.
Yeah. Yep. And, at the end of the day, like there's still rules to follow, whether you agree with them or not. And I don't know. I'm convinced. I've got myself convinced that after hearing what Big Cat said, that Jordan Love is just going to be this stud and he's going to take over. But I don't love the Packers plus 7.5 there. So I was going to refrain from that.
Did you have one more pick, Boomy?
I did. I'm sorry. I forgot to give it. Arizona plus 2.5. I know Kyler Murray's not going to play, but I think San Francisco stinks. And I think that. And I think Arizona has just too many weapons. I don't care who their quarterback is. I just think that them, even without Kyler Murray, that if you have those weapons and the way that San Francisco has played lately, it gives me no faith in them. It does, seem kind of trappy that it's so low without a starting quarterback, but there is nothing about the San Francisco 49ers that gives me confidence that they're going to be able to pull this one out. Let's move into the Sunday night game. I think this is going to be a really good game, Zach. We've got the Rams and the Titans. I am going to take the Los Angeles Rams at minus 7.5. I think
I'm with you on that because there's no way the Titans, who just lost Derrick Henry for, I don't know if it's the whole season or not, but it's going to be tough to bounce back in Los Angeles. I got the Rams too.
Also, another one you should probably run for the hills because we all have the Rams here.
We're agreeing on a lot of things this week. I don't think this Monday night game we will agree on, though.
No,
I'm taking the Bears plus 6.5.
Easiest bet of the weekend, Pittsburgh minus 6.5. The Steelers are going to just steamroll the Bears.
Not true.
I mean, did you watch last week's game?
Unfortunately, I did.
Yeah, there's nothing about that team that gives me confidence. And don't get me wrong, Zach,
they like the pressure of prime time,
I've bet on the Bears multiple times, and I don't hate picking the Bears, but I can't do it right now. I don't know which team. Is it going to be the team that showed up against Cincinnati, or is it the team that showed up against the Buccaneers? And that worries me. And also I just don't know where they're at with Nagy and, the running back situation scares me. Khalil Herbert had a good game against the Packers, but, also, you worry about a rookie running back. Are the Steelers the one that's going to figure him out? And now I think if they can stick to the plan and get, Fields out on his legs, I think that he's got some chances to do some damage, but I just don't see, and I'm probably going to be wrong about this, I just don't see Chicago keeping this super close. But we'll see. Like you said, it's a primetime game. You've got to come out, you got to show up. And, at the end of the day, everybody on that field is a professional football player, and, you got to prove it.
Very true.
Anything else on that one there, Zach? All right, let's run down Matt. Let's run down Matt and Pigoy's picks. Matt has Cincinnati minus 2.5, Atlanta plus 6.5. They are playing the Saints, who are going to be without Jameis Winston. They're going to go, it seems like a mix of Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill, who is back this week. Matt's got the Atlanta Falcons plus 6.5. He's also got the Chargers minus 1.5. Unlike me, he has the 49ers minus 2.5. And then he is on the same path as Zach for Sunday and Monday night. He's got the Rams minus 7.5 and the Bears plus 6.5. Who's jumping in this week? Like I said, make sure you follow Pigoy. Send him a nice thank you note for everything that he does for our social media pages. He is a whiz at that. He's got Minnesota. He is a Vikings fan, so take that lightly. He's got them plus 6. I think they're going to get trounced. I love Baltimore here off of a bye week. So I hope he's wrong. He's got Buffalo minus 14.5. Buffalo is in Jacksonville. I don't hate that pick at all. He also has the Chargers at minus 1.5. And then he has the 49ers at they are now down to minus 2.5. Rams. He is the same as Maddie and Zach. He's got Rams minus 7.5 and Bears plus 6.5. So welcome to the race, Pigoy. I got to get back to the top of my throne where I normally sit this week. So
I don't think that's going to happen.
If history says anything,
I like it up here
2 years in a row. So
I like it up here at the top.
Don't get used to it. I usually sit up there. It's been 2 years in a row. No big deal. I'm just saying. Let's move in. Let's wrap up the show. For 1 week, I just let you have a week, all right? Don't get too crazy. Let's move into our TCF top 3. And this week we have the new release, the 2021-2022 NBA City Edition uniforms. I am the jersey dork that I am. I have jerseys all around my basement. This week was like Christmas. Now I have to go on DHgate and buy like 15 different uniforms because there are so many amazing ones. But me and Zach are going to give our top 3 in our draft here, and we're going to do some discussion about it afterwards. So, Zach, I'm going to let you go ahead and get started. Obviously, Bulls not in the picture. I think the Bulls have a top 3 uniform in this, but obviously we would both pick them 1-1, I think. So, Zach, go ahead and take the first pick.
I'm going to go with the Hawks. That is a sweet jersey. I always love their throwbacks, and that's kind of what they went with this design. Yeah. I love this design.
I'm with you that it's the mid-'90s outstretched hawk wing and in the yellow, which is different. Their old ones were in red. I think that's a great pick. My first round pick, I'm going to go with the San Antonio Spurs. This just screams 1990s Spurs logo, and it has always thrown me off because they have, the like fuchsia colors. They've got, pink, orange, green, and all these things with it. They were always in their logo or like on their clothing, but it was never on their uniforms back outside of the logo. And I thought they did a really good job at incorporating those, kind of off-brand colors. I think those are the 1-1. In my second round pick, I'm going to take the team I have the hat on for, the Denver Nuggets. Throw it back to, the 80s with the coloring on the side, the old logo. The rainbow coloring on the side. I believe Alex English was the name that kind of made those jerseys famous. So I'm going to go with Denver in my second round pick. Who do you got in your second round, Zach?
The Timberwolves. I love that old school wolves on the front. It's very basic, but I love that.
Zach, the best part of those is the piping on the sleeves and inside the neck that has the trees to make it look like the Minnesota wilderness. I have that one at 9 overall, so I think that's a quality pick. That's a top 10 jersey. What's your third round pick, buddy?
What am I gonna go? I have to go with Portland, Rip City. I just love the Rip City on the front.
Zach, I hate to tell you, I got them at 22 on this year. I don't like those.
I love them.
Maybe
that's a good thing for me.
Boring.
Well, I'm not going for all the colors and stuff like you are.
They're also damn near the same exact jersey they did last year. So that they were originally in my bottom 5. They did work.
I don't keep up with it, so that when I see them, I don't notice.
I've pulled up the image of these jerseys at least 30 times since they came out on Tuesday. Let's see. My last pick. This is so hard because, like I said, I am. Make sure you're paying attention to the website. I will be releasing a blog this week with my uniforms ranked 1 through 30 through 1. This is tough. All right, I'm going to go with the Houston Rockets. The 90s pinstriping kind of looked like the Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon ones after the red and yellows. The Stevie franchise ones, late 90s. I love that look. You got to bring back the logo with the swirling rocket. I love those. That was a quality one. Were there any other ones that really jumped out to you that you like, Zach?
I like the Suns with the Valley. I like the old school Houston. That's pretty cool. The Toronto one is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. That's 10th on my list.
The Pacers one's decent.
I like the Pacers one a lot. I got that at 6. That's a good choice.
Not a fan of like the OKC one. Not a fan of that. The Celtics, boring.
Yep.
Charlotte's not a fan of the way they did it. Really?
Yes, because I get why you don't. It's a lot going on with the honeycomb and the old pinstripe, but I think the old pinstripe on the bottom kind of throws back to those Larry Johnson days.
The Heat have the worst.
Thank you. Oh, you spoiled my worst pick.
Sorry.
You're good.
I don't like that lettering. Like, make it all the same.
It's a hostage letter.
I know.
It's psychopath. And I know what they're getting at.
The Magic, they're not orange.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I originally had the Magic at my second to worst. I did bump them up to like 16, just because there's a little bit more. Once you see the full uniforms, you kind of get a different look on them.
The
but I'll tell
Lakers
you,
are kind of boring too.
Yeah, the Lakers
I
are
like
very
the
middle
purple.
of the pack.
I like that purple, but I'm not a fan. It's just like they put 2 stars on it.
Yeah, they were trying to like do a combination of like the Minneapolis Lakers and the Los Angeles Lakers, combining those color schemes. I don't hate the color schemes.
Sacramento's got Sacktown.
Yeah, that is. I might have to get one of that's kind of funny. I'll give you my.
Memphis, pretty boring, but
I've got Denver at 5.
Go ahead.
I've got Denver at 5, Brooklyn at 4, Philadelphia at 3, Chicago at 2, San Antonio at 1. My bottom 5, at 26th place, I have Oklahoma City. 27th, I have New Orleans. 28th is Boston. 29th is the Knicks. And 30th is the Heat. I think the Knicks one is incredibly boring. Boston doesn't matter what they make. Boston jerseys are boring. New Orleans is literally the same uniforms they have with just like an inlaid navigation thing. And
Detroit's
Oklahoma City
boring.
is see, but I'm with you. I was actually with you. They were in my bottom 5 until I saw the full uniform. They got like lightning bolts down the stripe or the side of the pants that actually turn the jersey in really well.
What is your thoughts on the 76ers?
Love them. I got them at 3. I love those. Scream 70s uniforms right there.
Very true. The
I love those. Cool. I thought that, I'll be honest, Zach, you said you like Phoenix. I thought that Phoenix and Portland should be at the bottom and Utah, just because they essentially just recreated last year's City Edition uniforms. And especially a team like
if you put
Phoenix,
them up next to the last year, you got to be different.
Exactly. Phoenix and Utah have some amazing throwback logos. Like, they haven't even touched the 90s logos.
In New Orleans,
in
it's not even different than their jersey they normally wear.
Literally, the only difference is if you look close, there's an inlaid darkened navigation star in the jersey underneath the letters. It's boring. But Phoenix and Utah, I thought, could do a lot better.
At least be a little different than the ones you actually wear. Exactly.
Like, there's so many options, and obviously some are going to hit the mark and some are not. But let us know what you guys think once you see them. I'm probably going to spend way too much money on some of these because there are some really, really good ones.
And you've been looking at them for like the last week.
I will give a shout out to Maddie's brother, who let me know he loves the Clippers one. I was not crazy about it. He made some good points. The old World Be Free throwbacks. And once I saw the short, it kind of made it a little bit better, but they're really boring. So I appreciated his input. I did bump, after seeing the full uniform, I bumped them up a couple of spots, but they're still sitting at 25 for me right now. So make sure you're paying attention. I'll be releasing that blog here this week on the full ranking. Zach, anything else before we head out?
No. We got still got some college football left here today. We got NFL Sunday, Bulls. We got some UFC. There's boxing.
That's just one part of my UFC fight.
Sports are there's a lot of sports going on right now.
Full gear, baby, full gear. And not to mention, Zach, college basketball starts in like 10 days.
Very true. I think next week, I thought.
Maybe it is next week. I know the women's starts next week. I can't remember if the men's start the same week, but it is right around the corner. Next week, we will be going into some big college basketball talk. I'm looking at my podcast notes here, and I've got the list of the ranking of every single college basketball team in the country in Division I. There are 385 teams, so we'll be breaking, obviously, some of that down, not the whole thing. But make sure you check out episode 120 next week. And Zach, we might have to get the daily shows back because there's just so much going on right now.
There's a lot of sports, especially the Bulls being exciting. That's nice for Chicago fans.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 119 of Typical Chicago Fans. Make sure that you check us out on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to our Facebook and Instagram pages at typical_Chicago there as well. Make sure that you check out our sponsors, Connect Roasters, for the best coffee around that you can find. Head over to YouTube, subscribe to our page for all of our content in video form. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Zach is on Twitter at ZWilliaTCF. But also make sure you check out Beer Baseball Repeat on Instagram for your holiday shopping needs. Pick you up some TCF official merch. Zach, anything before we head out?
I don't think so.
Let's have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for joining us. That was episode 119 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.